Can you hear me properly? Yes. Okay. Good morning, everyone. So I had to change. I had to change the setting because there is a big event next to my flat in the park, next to the building. It's very loud. We can expect to have even a concert or someone singing and so on. So I decided to do the class from here. The light is different, but well, it was no light and proper sound, or light and well, sound from outside. So it's very good to see you all again today. Is there any question? Do you have any question regarding the practice, regarding some insights, anything?
Can you hear?
Yes.
Yes, good morning to all.
Good morning.
Just a simple question. If you have, as an older one, lack of energy, you just go on every day by practicing. If you have less sleep, and I do every day meditation, but the energy at the moment is not round. I feel that. Just continuing, just observing, just going on. And that's the way I practice at the moment. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you. So the question is about energy. Do I have to keep practicing meditation even if I feel very tired? If I sum up, is that right? Okay, you are just talking about meditation, right? Yes. Okay, only about meditation, no physical training. Yes, meditation is all the time. When you are tired, when you are not tired, yes, tiredness can become an object of meditation. But of course, if the body is, for example, if the body is sick, then you can adapt and do lying down meditation, right? Because as always, if we wait for the best condition to meditate, most often we won't meditate. Meditate when your body is painful, maybe if you have sickness, when you are in the mood to do it, when you are not in the mood to do it, when you are tired, when you are not tired. So yes, keep going. Sometimes it's just the hour of meditation or less time. I don't know for how long you practice every day, but it can be just 1 hour of trying not to be to fall asleep. It might be the meditation can just be that, just observing the struggle against sleep. Yes, but then so you have to know where this tiredness comes from. Um, is it because you are sick? Is it because you are having more thinking mental activities? Because this is extremely tiring. So, for example, if you are having lots of worries, or if your mind is restless, then it takes all of your energy. If you are having physical training, so for example, if you have run for 1 hour and then sit the body down and try to meditate, of course it will have an effect on your energy, and body will say, okay, let's I used all the energy, now it's time to rest, and you might be sleepy in meditation. So it's good to know where this comes from. It can come from also from, now let's talk about it, but um, it depends also on your environment that could tire you, or let's say the people you are surrounding with. It can be also comes from psychic attacks, for example, people who are not necessarily living with you in your rooms, but who are thinking bad about you. It can also drain you energetically. Yes. So this you have to know where the source comes from, because if it's just okay general tiredness because you have lack of sleep, then you can go through. If you have let's say kind of a flu or a cold, of course then you understand where this tiredness, sleepiness comes from. You say, you know, that the source of it. If you're thinking a lot because you think that you have a problem, it can also drain your energy. All right, and of course there are antidotes for all of that. There is this factor of energy is actually very important on the path. And there are many suttas, I don't know which one by heart, but there is this faculty of raising energy. So for example, if the mind is sluggish, if the mind doesn't want to do the insight practice, for example, then of course, then you have to bring resolve in order to say, okay, now I am a bit sluggish. The mind doesn't really want to look inside, so it doesn't bring, uh, let's say, mindfulness isn't that sharp, then let's bring energy. So it's possible then you can then switch to walking meditation, so the body gets activated, some blood gets running, and then after that you sit. If there is a lot of ear will, it will also drain you. Then the antidote would say that instead of insight practice, I will do metta practice. Metta practice can bring lots of energy back, like it can fill the body with lots of energy. What else? So worrying. I would say that a good antidote would be contemplation on death. There is this practice. I don't remember if I ever uh, made a contemplation on death with you. I don't remember. I think maybe yes. No, don't remember. Yeah, I thought that maybe I won't do it online as an online practice. I want to do it. Maybe if one day we sit together. Contemplation on death, it's one of the meditation uh, taught by the Buddha. I'm trying to remember the Pali word for it. Maranasati, something like this. it will come back. Okay, contemplation of death. Why? Because then saying that maybe today is my last day, then priorities completely change. Then the worries, the problems that you think you have becomes very minor. Because if it would be really your last day, you will think differently, you will act differently, you will speak differently, you will consider other people differently. In a completely different um, way. The mind would, would might settle very quickly with uh, contemplation on death. For example, uh, my my mind, when I do this contemplation, very quite seriously, actually, it goes into samadhi like almost in an instant. But you have to be willing to, of course, do this kind of courageous contemplation. It looks very depressing, but it brings you to calmness and to cooling down very quickly. Say, okay, maybe that's true. Maybe this idea that we are going to live for 20 years from now, it's just an idea. Do you realize that? That is just a belief, and your whole life is based on that belief that you have 20 years to live, or 40. I don't know. I turned 47 a few days ago, so that would leave me with 35 years. So I said, wow, plenty of time, great. Then I can worry as much as I want. Let's worry, okay? I'm just joking. I know how painful it can be to worry. But maybe, so there are another antidote, all right? And I talked about it. It's the 5 daily recollection that I don't remember right now. But in those 5 daily recollections, um, there is this recollection that yes, that body might be broken up anytime. You can lose consciousness in a minute. The next breath, this is all you have. Actually, if you contemplate that, you can sit right now. Let's sit together. And uh, there are, you can close your eyes and we can look at the views that we are holding right now. Okay, close your eyes, bring your attention back into your body. Put your attention on a few breaths. And now look very closely, very honestly. If right now you are handing you the view that you are this body, is it obvious to you that you are that body? There is no right or wrong answer, just without thinking much about it. Is there this conception that you are this body? just like an, let's say, innate feeling. That's the case. Now, look very honestly if there is any sense, any conception, any belief, view that there is continuity of yourself, like what you did this morning and what you are going to do in half an hour. Have you thought today that it could be your last day? Or you just woke up and lived your life as it would be 20 years longer? There is no right or wrong answer, just for you to know. What are you conceiving as a default view? Now look very honestly and closely if you hold the view that others around you act like, or life acts like, as if random. Some things happened to you out of nowhere, without causes. Challenges are thrown to you out of nowhere, as if bad luck, good luck. Do you hold that view? Do you hold that view? Is this how you see the world? Do you hold that view that this body shouldn't, shouldn't get sick, age, and die? Shouldn't be tired? Shouldn't be dysfunctioning? Honestly, if you walk the world subtly, even unconsciously, holding that view, Now look all those beliefs you have and how they can shape your life and your everyday moment, every moment experience. Now, if you contemplate, for example, the belief, conception in continuity of time, then look closely where the past can be found, where the future can be found. Is it a subtle conception that superimpose everything you do, this belief, this view of continuity of time? So those are kind of reflection you can have for yourself. And the practice will bring you to actually drop that. And there would be some kind of energetic current that will cease. And with that, calmness will arrive and energy will arise to you. So you can open your eyes now. And while doing that, I remembered the 5 daily recollection. So this is the contemplation that you are not exempt of sickness, not exempt of aging, not exempt of dying, and that you are heir to your karma. So whatever you do, you think, or you say, you will inherit the results of that. All right, until the end of karma making. And nothing belongs to you. We let's say worked on that last time, if I remember correctly, or when I say, okay, just for a moment, and I showed my shoes and I say, those are my shoes, but those are just an idea or a conception that they are my shoes. But this is just me putting an idea conception of those objects. Reality is different. They belong, there is this belongingness or this possessiveness. It's just, let's say, an illusion. So this is also a way to bring up some energy, because we started with that question in meditation. All right, this sense of urgency of practice. Right, if it's not only related to body sick, but it can be mental tiredness, then bring up some energy, practice the 5 daily recollection. It will bring a sense of urgency to practice and resolve. Okay, whatever the conditions of the body mind, let's practice. Yes. You might fall asleep. Well, then fall asleep. Then, when you woke up from your meditation cushion, okay, oh, I was asleep, or 20 minutes. Okay, let's continue. It's, so, yeah, I practiced. So, of course, you have to know if this tiredness comes from the defilement themselves, actually, or if it's really physical. And then if you can say, okay, I allow myself a nap, for example, after lunch, and then I will resume meditation. Or you decide just to go through, or to say, okay, there is a good training that is also to reduce the hours of sleep and meditate, replace those hours of sleep by meditation, but you have to know what you're doing. So and then you learn how energy drops, how energy can be bring up, and how much the mind tries to put the body to sleep to avoid meditation. That's possible too. Yes. So it's again balancing energy, looking the states of the mind, what's there, if there are any defilements, so like greed, dread, and delusion. If there are those who are telling you stop meditating, and then apply some um, antidotes that I gave, some of them. And in case of worry, restlessness, ill will, you can look at those, the way or the views you are holding about your life. And the views I've cited, and the mind is actually very subtly conceiving, uh, holding those views. And until we are put in front of them and say, okay, am I holding those views? And when it becomes very obvious, and say that, of course, I live my life like I am my body. Of course, I live my life, to be very honest, as if tomorrow is granted. Then you can start to say, okay, is there any ground to that? Is that really true? Is it right view in the Noble Eightfold Path? I see on my book, right view, samadhi. There are 64 wrong views that the Buddha enumerated. Right. I do not have the list right now. I just have right view in the Noble Eightfold Path. Right view. See how the fact of conceiving a linear time, a linear continuity of that being, how does it color your life? How does it influence the way you act? According to the past, I have that experience. Now I won't reproduce that. I'm going to act differently in order to have this result in the future. Boom. Then you are put, it's construction. You are constructing your life according to this false belief of, or conception of a being doing things in time. This linearity of time. Why? Because we see a plant growing So from a seed, we see then, okay, I put it in the ground, I water it, and it starts to make some leaves, and then the flower, the blooming, and then the death of the flower. It's time passing, right? And this time passing also happened to me. Okay, well, there are practices that will show you that this conception of time, of a being operating in time, is not ultimate reality. Because we do not look honestly with a clear mind inside all phenomena, we have this illusion of compactness, compactness, linearity of time, compactness of the body of the being evolving in time. We have even the illusion, the perception of compactness of matter. Like I touch it, is very solid. However, physics will say to you that it's mostly space. An atom is mostly space. And yet solidity, and we believe in that. Also that body and me, I don't know, any combination, I'm in the body is in me, and so I am contained in the body, compactness. And those ways of looking at life, actually, how to say that? Yes, I would say that this this cannot bring pacification of mind. The dispassion for the world, the cessation of mental constructions, and the realization of nibbana. Nibbana is the Pali word for nirvana, liberation. So I was talking last time about refining the mind. This is why you train in mindfulness, in concentration, in samadhi, to look at those subtle views that you hold and that color and even prevents from deliverance of the mind. Because if you do the contemplation really of time or of death, that this is really a wrong idea to believe that you have a tomorrow, right? That you have a 20. So in 10 days, I have this appointment to the neurologist, right? These 10 days are not even granted. You're not sure about that. There is a certain probability that you, okay, according to your physical health, you say, okay, physical health tell me that there are good chance that in 10 days I will still be alive. But well, you don't know. So many ways to be killed nowadays that, right. So also this idea of a tomorrow, it's just an idea. If you sit and look at where is this those 10 days and you realize that those are the mental fabrication, the sankharas. Sankharas is the Pali word for it, for the mental construction. It's really construct those kind of ideas, those kind of concepts, and on which you feed on your worries. And when during insight practice, you see how those mental constructs or those ideas come and go, then you can realize how illusory it is to worry on based on an idea. All right, but because you haven't gone to, you haven't penetrated yet into this illusion of compactness, of me, of time, of matter, then it keeps coming. It keeps building up, forming your world. You, others, this subject, that object, aversion, attachment. And really, this end of suffering, or at least at the beginning, the, yes, I would say the pacification of all of those, let's say, problems that you can have. This you cannot imagine. This is not something that you can imagine. This pacification, this passion, looks very much like anti-life or like not very attractive. But do not try to make an idea or to imagine what this end of suffering is, because you will be wrong. As soon as you imagine or have a conceived idea of how it can be, then it's automatically not that, let's say. Hmm. I wanted to say that. Why? Yes, the Four Noble Truths. So, the first noble truth is there is suffering. And if you look at the way it's phrased, the way it's written, the realization that there is suffering, which is obvious for most of people, there is suffering. It doesn't say you are suffering, right? It's impersonal already in the phrasing, because the Buddha said, okay, yeah, beings are suffering. Yeah. No, he said there is suffering. So he took really care not to put any personal aspect in that. All right. There is suffering and it's impersonal, the three characteristics of existence. All right. Even suffering is not uh, yours. So there is suffering. Then, second noble truth, that's the origin of suffering. And he announced the three roots of suffering. So, craving for sensual pleasures, craving for existence, craving for non existence. All right. Then he said that if you uproot that craving, then suffering will end. If the roots of sufferings are uprooted, okay, as a consequence, let's say, suffering ends. So we can think, okay, so I'm suffering. If I know the craving, then if I know the craving, realize it, then I would stop suffering. All right. But the Buddha didn't say that. He didn't say, okay, it's not just by knowing intellectually about it that you can actually uproot craving. He said that there is a way out. There is a way actually to uproot. The origin of sufferings. And he didn't say, okay, you just have to think about it, or he said there is this way is the Noble Eightfold Path. And this is right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So those 8 aspects has to be developed. Right view. I've never talked really about it so far, right? Right view. Maybe we will go to the 64 wrong views. We'll see. I have to have a look on that. So right view is that, because we have the tendency to say, okay, this I've understood, yeah, the origin of suffering, and then you try to make your own recipe, right? To make your own sauce of the teachings. Okay, let's meditate a bit. But no, there are really 8 pillars that has to be developed. And right view is in that. Right speech is in that. Right intention is in the Noble Eightfold Path. Right concentration, right mindfulness, right? Because in this, the way we live, actually, it's consumerism. So we buy some formula. We buy some formula. Okay, so even in online classes, we just choose what we like, right? And we have this package, and maybe this package or this package is more advantageous. I have more classes, or this one I do not like. Well, I won't do it. But those 4, I like those models, so I will do that. So with the Noble Eightfold Path, maybe we do the same, right? Okay, right view, step, right speech. Yeah, I can try. Right effort. Well, it will depend on my mood, on my energy. Um, hmm, then right concentration, or I cannot concentrate that much, or it's too difficult for me. All right, I will keep right mindfulness, right livelihood, and right speech. Okay, 3 models over 8, reduced price. and then I would go for it. Every one of the 8 aspects has to be developed. So you see that um, it's not only about willing to get rid of the cravings, right? There is really, what I wanted to say is that there is really a path or a method to do that. And we cannot choose what we like and what we do not like in that. Every aspect has to be developed. This is really the way to the cessation of suffering, and I think we have to really explore it, because in the teachings there are things that we do not like, right? Contemplation of death, then we do not like looking at our own death every day. We want to be joyful and happy, not to realize that we are going to die, that my daughter is going to die maybe tomorrow, and the loss and the sadness and so on, right? But on the other hand, when you really do from a mindful, conscious, calm mind, there would be the realization that there are some things that you can let go of and that you cannot keep grasping at them because they have this illusory nature. They are not real, they are mind made. How absurd is that, to keep grasping on something non existent? And then when the mind, or let's say that unclinging and grasping of wrong views, of opinions and constructs, when that movement of the mind, when it opens and really stop feeding of that on that, then those, it's like there is empty space. So it it's no longer uh, fed by those mountain construction fabrications. Take your worries. Imagine the stop of worrying. The worries no longer appear in the mind, and with that, this kind of feeling, unpleasant feelings that accompany them, just not there. And let's say you have to, there will be, even the body will stop being agitated. And the mind will not try to fill the space, let's say, with imagination, construction, worry, challenges, any kind of dualities, right or wrong, good or bad, uh, strong or weak, tired, energetic. The mind will rest on itself, let's say. So I invite you again to look at the Four Noble Truths and to also, if you have time, look at the right aspect of the Noble Eightfold Path and maybe find the one you haven't developed yet. Say, okay, this right intention, what does that mean? Right view, okay. Right speech or right concentration, samadhi, what it is. Am I concentrated? I am putting effort in order to keep my mind concentrated. Of course, you will have to, you will question that. Okay, do I really need it? This is when faith has to come and say, okay, let's trust the Buddha. Let's trust those teachings who have 2,500, who are 2,005, even more than 2,500 years old, right? Of course, the Dharma, the quality of the Dharma has decreased over time, and it was already predicted long time ago. Even something like in, I don't know if it's in 100 or 500 years from now, the Dharma will be not even existing. This is our chance. This is our chance to, at least in this lifetime, reduce our suffering by understanding proper practice, looking at uh, all those 8 aspects and bring them into our life, having the courage to look at our beliefs, our views that we hold, and how by changing, almost changing perspective or dropping those views, how it um, how it changed the quality of our mind, of our heart, of our life. Okay, that was today's talk. Thank you for your attention. If you have any question, please feel free. Please feel free to stay silent if you want. Please feel free to leave if you need to.